The topic is Peacemakers Against Violence, and we're talking to Mr. LGreenlee and Miss Mary Horn. And of course, Mr. Greenlee and Miss Horn, before we had our final commercial break, we promised that we'd give you an opportunity to talk about some other aspects of Peacemakers Against Violence. And one thing that is that strikes me is the fact that quite recently we've had many reports of so many of our young people being involved in homicides. As a matter of fact, I think that there's a disproportionate number involved in homicides around Nashville than in other cities of comparable size. And so let's see if we can talk about some of these youth killers, these individuals, and that's a terrible word to say, but that's essentially what they become once they kill somebody. And let's talk about that from that perspective.
Well, every time I want to mention something like that, I have to go with political, social, and cultural.
Oh, do that.
You know what I mean? I have to. Because
do that.
The lack of certain opportunities and things for certain people in certain communities, it automatically triggers other things.
Okay, good.
You can't get past that. You can look past it, but you have to understand that we need to start to offer opportunities, and then find how can we get these kids back in school to get some education. So therefore, we can stop a lot of things in the long run. The young lady, the lady that got killed the other day in the store.
Okay.
She had a gun. The gun was just like his gun. It was false security. So we're sitting around here toting the guns, and instead of us getting with the ill problem, we're trying to get this false security of holding the gun and thinking the gun gonna protect us, and it never has been a protection. It was organized what it was for, really for hunting, for sports. Okay, so now when you look at these kind of things that I look at, and I realize that, now I say I have faith in God.
Good.
Okay, so now where's my gun come in play? My gun had to come in play because of my faith of man.
Of your fear, too, of
Absolutely. I haven't owned a gun since 1978, 1980 or something like that, because it never has occurred to me that it can really protect me, because it's like Billy the Kid, whoever got the gun first is the one who's going to win.
Well, that seemed to be Western-style violence that most of these young people are practicing now. I mean, they shoot before they even think, you know.
Well, you can't be thinking, you have to be reacting. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to quit complaining. Let's get down to some real brass stuff. And let me say something else, too. We keep trying to bring other folks in other communities to our communities. First of all, our people don't trust us. So it's going to be hard for them to trust somebody else. We need to go head on. All of us who come up out of the madness, let's call a big meeting. And no matter what you're doing, let me assist you. No matter what I'm doing, let you assist me. And let's start some things to get our kids in. Because once we bring folks from the outside in, those kids hearted, man, look, they're not there to help us. They're going to go home at 7 o'clock. This is all the things that we got to deal with. We have to get realistic. We have to quit playing this fairy tale facade. It's not going to solve our problems. I'm telling you, if we don't hurry up and do something, we're going to be devastated. It's 14 now. What about 9?
Good. And it goes down. Yeah, it goes down before it goes up.
It first was 18, 19, 20, 21. Then it became 17, 16, now 14. If you think it's going to get any better, then you watch it if you don't do anything about it. So let's get involved with that.
So the possibilities of it getting worse are much greater than the possibilities of getting better without us doing anything.
If we don't grab a hold and start doing it right now, and let's get this thing 5 years to make a difference, then we'll see. If all these different programs get together and everybody make an assessment, which one's working and which one's not working, then we can pull something together and constantly make it work. But we want to be individually doing things, and we are not making any kind of leadway because we're not assessing each other. What's really working? Is anything working? So we got to get to that part of stuff first.
Ms. Horn?
Let me share this. I just want to know where these kids getting these guns from.
That's the question that I was about to raise.
The thing that's coming, when I was coming up, we had a gun in the home. But the thing about it is my brother and I got the gun. We started playing with the gun. We didn't have no idea. But when my mother one evening, something went on with the dogs or something. She was going to go get the gun. I guess she was going to do something with it. But when she went to it, it was gone. She noticed it was misplaced. And she got the gun. She said, oh, no, it's time for me to take this gun out of the house. and she took the gun out of the house, because if you look at it, we could have killed ourselves.
That's been a
We
great
could-
tragedy
Yes,
among
or we
many
could have got
families.
mad and took the gun to school and shot somebody else. So that's what I was asking, why do people leave the gun in the house? Where do these kids getting these guns from? Either your parents, your friends, or who?
Because as long as they've got the gun, then this young man who became involved in this robbery murder, had he not a gun, then there's a strong possibility that he might not have even gone in there thinking about trying to take anything.
That's
But
right.
I think, as you indicated, that gun gave him a sense of what? False security or whatever. And,
Yeah, and the gun was placed in the house by someone else. Okay, it wasn't his gun. He go up on the couch. to
see,
get the gun.
I didn't know where he got the gun. Is that,
Yes.
is that
Yes, this gun wasn't even his gun. Okay, this is what we got to be dealing with.
he knew of the existence of that gun?
And where it was. Yes. And how can somebody go somewhere to do harm to people for a cigarette, for a couple of dollars?
Yeah.
So that means automatically that somewhere we are not
Something's
thinking.
wrong somewhere.
Yes. So we need to go deeper than all this stuff we're talking about. We need to get these kids to actually thinking different, because
That's
right now
right.
they're thinking, nobody cares about me. I don't care about nobody. I really want to commit suicide, but I'm afraid, so I might well kill somebody and go and lay in prison.
You think that they've reached that point of depression and everything in reference to all these things?
Don't say nothing to me. Say something to me right now. Do something. You go around and see this everywhere. They got chips on their shoulder. You can't even touch them. That's why I got a song in this thing called Club Atmosphere. Man, they out here trying to shine and make themselves feel good in the club. They let them shoot you, man, at any time for no reason. We don't have reasons now. We ain't talking about these folks out here killing folks for $1,000 now. We talking about a couple of $100, 50 cents, a rag that's blue or a rag that's red. Look, man, okay, we can call this gang problems all we want to, but this is a psychological problem. And we better, as a whole, as a black community first, then we can go rest of the community. We have a black problem. We are right now trying to kill ourselves off the face of the earth. And at this rate, it's not going to take long being locked up in prison and laying around the graves. It don't take very long for us men, especially if we die at our age and not give anything back. And these folks already don't have anything, we're in a heap of trouble.
You know, Ms. Greenlee, a long time ago, we talked about what was known as the endangered African-American male. Are you saying that essentially some of these young people have created a situation where the very existence of African-American males might be at stake?
1,000%, yes. We got to look at the alarming things that's going on. Man, this thing is getting out of hand. I really say it's a state of emergency, and we need to come up with some solutions. And I'm telling you, we as a whole have to come up with them ourselves. There's nobody going to be able to come from outside to come in. If they had, it would already been done.
And so the peacemakers, you think that this can really serve as a method? It might not be the only method, but it is at least one method whereby we might be able to generate the kind of support and things that you're talking about here.
Music soothes the savage beast. Music has always been made because of what? Emotions.
That's right.
And in any music you can get them involved in spite of what people might think in reference to that rap music and vulgarity and et cetera, that's what you're trying to do, is at least get through by way of music.
If the media, the radio people, and the community get involved with trying to change it, some major industry gonna come in and outdo us little boys. But what happening now, everything is selling so smooth, there's nothing else for them to even think about doing. But the sex, guns, robberies, all of this kind of stuff. So until we put out something else, there's no reason for the industry to get involved in it. And if we look at it a long time ago, they talked about our situations and getting out of this and getting out of that now. So we put ourselves in this situation, and then we want to put on rap, but okay, since you want to put on rap, let's put some more rap out there and demand that people sell it. And therefore, I tell you, there's not a song that hasn't been made that wasn't made from emotions. I want to arouse the emotions. I want to lift their spirits, and I want to start their imagination to think about against this violence.
Very good. And of course, I think we're almost at the end of the show for today, but let me thank the two of you, Mr. Greenlee and Ms. Horn, for coming by and giving us that excellent information dealing with gun violence, youth violence, and methods that you have developed that will reach emotionally some of these young people and perhaps change their minds in reference to some of the things that they're doing. And we certainly appreciate that. And we don't know how far this program might go, but we do believe that if the two of you continue to push it as you are pushing it, that it will go a long way, and it will solve a real need that we have in the community. And of course, let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.